Welcome to the Tech Collective News Brief, where Scott and I break down one piece of tech news, what it means for the industry, and why you should care. How's it going, Scott?
It's good.
Ready to jump into our first story?
Let's do it. So the first story is that the FCC here in the United States uh, put forth a ban for internet routers. And essentially, what this means is that all new internet routers from other countries outside the US are going to be banned to be imported. And that has some big potential implications. So let's get into it. First of all, like, what does this mean to people?
This is a pretty big deal. I mean, it's going to stop innovation for routers for quite some time. The big thing here is that if you already have a router, whatever already exists in the market today that's already selling, those products are still going to continue to come in. Whatever company is selling them, the Google Nest, the Arrows, the Ubiquitys, Netgear, all those products are still going to continue to sell. And by the FCC coming down really hard on new products, then that's just going to slow down innovation, getting faster chips, getting faster Wi-Fi routers in the home, and we can see a huge stall in the industry. What are your thoughts on this, Scott?
Well, it's a big deal. We're not just talking about some rinky-dink companies. It's like TP-Link, Netgear, Google Nest, Eero, like pretty much the biggest router companies out there. Uh, it affects them, and so why it seems like a big deal to me is that, hey, like, everybody needs internet. It's one of those things like power, internet, like, we all of our
Water.
devices need these things. So, it's not like we can get around. It's like, "Oh, we'll just skip. We'll just go offline for a few years."
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going offline. It just means that, people already complain about internet being slow, right? If you've got kids like I do, they go to some parts of the house and the internet just happens to be a little bit slower and all of a sudden they start complaining. Or if you've got a lot of devices and you're a gamer and you want to make sure you have some of the best fastest internet you can get, this is one of those things where it will impact that. Just to get a little bit more into the details, so it's not just the routers that are being banned; it's some of the components as well, right? A lot of these chips are coming from Taiwan or South Korea. Those are going to be investigated. You've got a lot of memory and storage that comes out of Asia. And of course, the assembly and the manufacturing happens in a lot of Asian countries, right? In China and Vietnam and places like that. So, as a whole, it's going to slow things down. We've already been hit by expensive tariffs coming out of China and some of these places. So prices were already going up. And now it seems that they're stalling for technology innovation. So companies in the US, I mean, this hurts a lot of US companies, the ones that are trying to create new technology, trying to use these chips in all their devices, whether it's iPhones, your pads, your computers, your microwave, your toaster, whatever you've got has a chip in it at this point. So all those devices and products get slowed down as well. So it's just not going to be routers getting banned. It's large portions of the consumer electronics industry. And so the impact is quite broad.
Yeah, that's the scary part because it's actually it's broadly defined as things that are designed, developed, or manufactured. It's not just like, "Oh, if they build it in China, then it's no good." Like, there could be any part of that process for several of the different components like you mentioned, and so that covers a lot of categories.
So, when you're thinking about products coming out this year, Scott, do you think there's going to be any delays? Are we going to see any delays to maybe the new iPhones? I know the new Samsung phones just got announced, but new Apple products that are supposed to be announced later this year, new things from Microsoft for their Surface tablets. Do you think we'll see a lot of these companies hold off launching their products because of this?
I guess that's the big question. I don't know. I know that there are a couple of things coming up. People are There's a lot of speculation about, like, is Apple gonna be releasing a foldable phone perhaps in the fall? I haven't heard. I have no idea, but I know the rumors are out there. But like you said, this just stalls innovation. It makes things more difficult for US companies at a time when the financial implications and the supply chain implications are already tough. You know, they're it's already tough to do everything on a good day, and this is just putting a huge stumbling block ahead of that. So, my question is, like, now that we've talked a little bit about the industry and about why this is important, what do we do about this? Like, should we be rushing out to Best Buy and Target to be buying up routers and things like that? Like, what? How does this really affect us?
The impact right now is going to be very minimal from a consumer standpoint, right? All these products that exist in the market are still going to continue to be sold, right? If you got a top of the line Asus router, TP Link, right, some of the ones you've mentioned, or a mesh network, these products are still going to be available in the market and they're going to be sold as normal. The real problem comes in on newer products and what happens in those situations, and what happens from a resource standpoint. These routers need to be constantly updated, constantly monitored. Routers are a really big security risk inside a home or a business because, hackers, anything like that can, try to get in through the router. And so these companies need to stay on top of that. So if you're taking away resources from the main functionality of the router as a company because you only have limited resources and you have to put resources towards trying to just get more government approval for something that was already working, it can really harm a company and harm your experience as well. You might start to see features disappear. You might start to see updates not come as frequently as they should. And for some of these companies, if they can take care of some of these network security things in a timely fashion, then you're going to see problems across the board. So the impact on consumers for the immediacy is not going to be too much, but long term, if it doesn't get resolved, you can start to see issues that happen with your current routers and the current products that are available.
Yeah, so I'd say it's like starting a year from now, we'll probably see like the ripples in the water start to come more closely into focus. Um, it's just to me, this I sort of sloughed it off, honestly. When I first read about this, I was like, oh, what's the big deal? But as I think about the implications, so it's really not just about like slower internet speeds, it's about handcuffing technology and slowing progress. And none of those things are good things. You know, we'll be able to update some stuff with firmware, but that's only going to be for a limited time. I think it's like for the first year. So it's one of those. It's not going to affect us right away, but we should be looking on the horizon. I'm sure we're going to be hearing more about this in the coming months.
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you, I'll be really upset if I've got to update all my gear next year because everything I have a nice mesh network that's working perfectly fine. I love it, no issues. And if all of a sudden I have to update it next year because of an FCC ruling and spend hundreds of dollars more redoing it, I'm going to be pretty upset about that.
So I think that wraps it up for this episode of the Tech Collective News Brief. Thanks again for watching. If you found this helpful, valuable, mildly interesting, please subscribe, like, hit the notification bell so you can stay up on what's new and important in the world of tech.
And also, leave your comments below. Tell us what you think about the US router ban, if you think it's going to have a big impact, very little impact, and what your thoughts are on this regulation. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll catch you in the next one.